Well, I'm gonna have to get into that a little bit, you know. Good caster, good player. I'm okay. He just lost his front teeth a few days ago. And someone ran into him and he bit his top lip of his bottom teeth. Oh no. Oh well. I mean, oh well. Life goes on. It could be worse, you know. I think. Wardy, my day was ruined as I was walking home. I literally spent the morning teaching the 6 times table to my class, and only later did you realize that today's date is the 6th of December 2018. 6, 12, 18. Or tomorrow you can go in and you be like, guys, do you know what happens if you take the 7 times table, but minus 1 from the start, and then times it by 2 and 3? Boom. Okay, maybe that doesn't work. At all. Ay, ay, ay. Ward's a GM marbles caster, but his game is silver at best. Wow. My marble is very good, I'll have you guys know. Bottom right, Cyan. Top left, BratOK qualifying matchup in this PVT. There is no 14th month. You just say 40. You just do the 7th of February 2018 or something. I don't know. Yes, you really have missed an opportunity there. I don't know what to tell you. I mean, next year's 2019, and 19 is a prime number. So actually, unless you're teaching any 19s times tables, it's probably not going to go so well. Then I guess, you know, you could do... Man, I mean, actually... Maybe the 5th of October, 2020. You can teach people that if you do 5 times 2 is 10, but if you times it by 2 again, it isn't 15, it's 20. Okay, I don't know where I'm going with this. I'm trying too hard. That's the best I can come up with, though. You've really messed up, Crota. I don't know what to tell you, buddy. I don't know what to tell you. You know, this didn't seem so disastrous when I first read it, but the more you make me talk about it, the more I understand how much of a disaster this is. Stargate on the way up here from Cyan, as we do see an Adept. We'll start moving out onto the map. The game PVT lately has been a little bit of a weird place with Terrans trying to fake proxies and opening aggressive cyclones and so on. The game seems very technical and very aggressive in the first 5 to 10 minutes, more so than it used to be even. A lot of factory-based builds and just figuring out what you can have and what you need against it as the Protoss and how you can attack and when you can attack as the Terran. It's pretty tough though. It can get pretty tough. Adept comes in, picks up a kill. And 2 Adepts together will move around. Starport is on the way up from BratOK in the main base. We do see the Cyclone locking onto an Adept and picks up that kill as well. A couple of SCVs on the way out. Reactor coming up on this barracks, about to finish up as the Starport going to be finishing in the main as well. Viking on the way out. Widowmine coming through too. And again, Adepts. A couple of Adepts and Oracle from Cyan moving out towards the upper left-hand side. Cyan's like top 3 to 4 in China. Yeah, Cyan's very good in China. He was very good in 2016, I feel. And he dropped off a lot, but he is still very, very good. China's weird. Like, it feels like the players go from being very good to not as great the next day, almost, sometimes. But it's an interesting region. Cyan definitely is right up at the top of the Chinese region as BratOK. Only game here. Look at the worker count, though. Look at the worker count from Cyan. He's doing a fantastic job. He's up to 41 against 38 workers. It's a big difference so early in the game. Two Oracles from Cyan will continue to go in towards the upper left-hand side. Seen that Oracle getting picked off. Unfortunately, that's a little bit of a shame. A little bit of haphazardness with the units so far on both sides. I mean, especially from Cyan, though, he's been losing a couple of those Adepts. The Oracle, I mean, he picked up a Widowmine and a couple kills of the Marines as well, so not too crazy. Two engineering bay is going to be finishing up in a moment from BratOK as well, so getting those completed. As we see a Twilight Council and a Forge going to drop into the main. So Twilight Council and a Forge dropping down. Going up to the 3 bases here from Cyan. You see that stim pack going to be completing in just a few moments' time. A couple of medevacs on the way out from BratOK as well. And there's that blink upgrade being chrono boosted from Cyan too. So chrono boosting out that blink. And again, the Oracle heading back toward the bottom right-hand side. Five extra gates on the way up. Obviously, Cyan is going to be very heavy on the gateway-based units. Very kind of Stalker heavy. And Blink right now probably go straight into Charge after it as well and just kind of play Zealot Stalker with a little bit of a mortal backup before going into Archons too. And from the Terran's point of view, going into 1-1 upgrades, it's all kind of okay. Again, a good amount of Marines on the way out. Starport and the factory have reactors on them as well. So going into Medevacs and Widowmines to kind of follow through into the mid-game. Widowmines have been very popular again lately. A good way to try and deal with what has been a very, again, kind of gateway-heavy set of armies that the Pros players have been producing. The only Chinese Terran player I know is Time. There's a Chinese Terran player called Chick for a while. He was pretty good, but never really broke out. Chinese Terrans, yeah. Not many of them. XY. Boom, there you go. XY's been doing pretty well in WCS events even. Not as well as Time. Time definitely the best Chinese result in foreign StarCraft in a long time, but yeah. XY has been a couple of round of 32 WCS events and so on. XY's pretty good. Well, I haven't seen games from XY for an absolute lifetime, it feels like. Stalkers have Blink, but, well, just gives one up there, and, okay, Blink's away from this one. Again, not bad, clean up a couple of mines. I mean, Stalker Heavy is actually pretty good if your opponent's going mines, because then you can actually deal with the mines very effectively, but you still need some Zealots to kind of tank, and that's why charge and +1 armor will be important to get to. 1-on upgrades in play for BratOK. He can start 2-2, and as I say that and switch back to the production tab, he has gotten it started. All of these Adepts gathering up a few sentries as well, and just going to be seeing another round of Zealots being warped in on the 3rd base. Stalker's still just pressing forwards, Medevac having to pull just a little bit further back. Stalkers will blink away again, and again a few more Marines getting picked away at as we see charge +1 armor just on the way up, and Cyan still hanging around on the bottom side of the map. BratOK back out into the middle. As you do see the Viking here from BratOK just hanging around up to the top side. You see a few Stalkers moving forward. Widowmine doesn't blink away in time. Again, that's just the little things here from Cyan that aren't going brilliantly. But man, I have to say, you know, we talked about Cyan's economy early game. It's been great all game long for him. And look at how it's affecting his supply. 89 to 55. Now, yes, he's going to be behind on upgrades soon. He's definitely not as tech heavy as the Terran player either, because the Terran's going into Ghosts and Liberators. Whereas obviously the Pros is very kind of massing up on kind of just gateway units. With a Robo Bay and a second facility coming down, there's options here from Cyan to start tacking up, and it just feels like Cyan has a position to play with. Could he maybe be more aggressive than he's been right now? I actually wouldn't mind to see him try. But it's also very difficult for him to know that the Terran player is committing so hard into Liberators and Ghosts, rather than kind of just pumping out pure bio units, so... Anyways, meanwhile, on the left-hand side, SCV going to pull back to the 3rd base, the 4th base Butch is building. Just around here, BratOK in general is also being very passive. He still now sends his first 2 Liberators across the map. The 2 Liberators always do kind of get sieged up into very powerful positions, and I mean, they're just such great harassment tools. It's surprising how good of a harassment a couple of Liberators can be. Well, this is the moment where, of course, BratOK has to be a little bit careful. Cyclone going down there initially. Now this is really nice though. As BratOK is ready to kind of force a fight, these Liberators are going to get set up as well, and that's just going to cause this distraction from Cyan, where it's going to be very hard for him to really deal with this. A Viking lands in the 3rd base too, so this is essentially triple-pronged aggression. 3rd base, Viking, Marine and Natural, a Liberator, and I mean I guess a quad-prong, because we have this Bio Army, the top right side too. That's still what Cyan has to pay a lot of attention to, but he left his Zealots behind. Colossus are here as well, but they're not being brought into play just yet. 17 workers go down, as we'll see finally these Liberators starting to drop, but not the one in the natural. That's still up. Loses the 4th base as well. I mean, with the Colossus, it kind of feels like he maybe should have been able to deal with this, but no extended thermal lance makes it difficult to justify committing in. And that is a lift up, and that is a lot of dead airspace in this top right corner for those medevacs to hide in. Another scan coming down, as we do see Stalkers will blink in, and oh, very nearly that Liberator nearly goes down. Zealot, Stalkers, couple of Colossus, and a few Sentries all gathered up in the top right-hand side. And we do see Liberator will get taken down by a Phoenix that was produced off of the Stargate from earlier. I like that. The Phoenix can now come top right as well and maybe hunt those medevacs down. I mean, they're still up here. We're not going to make the boost away the dive of the Sentry to get out. I don't think Cyan realizes yet. Sees it now with a pylon. Meanwhile, another bioarmy sets up to the bottom side of the map. Cyan's very out of position for dealing with that. He's still very in position to maybe push this around. Although then he just lifts up and moves away. Cyan has a couple of Colossus setting up over here. It's kind of a small map. It's going to be difficult to get enough back onto the natural in time. That single Colossus has to start backing away pretty quickly. Walkers and Micro will keep it alive. Those we see for now, only a couple of gateways really in trouble. And show him back up here, as long as he doesn't lose too much on the natural main. I actually don't mind this so much for Cyan, because he's actually cleaning up quite effectively. And I mean, some pylons getting taken down, that's obviously annoying, that's never fun. But at the same time, it's also, again, not the worst damage in the world. Feels like Cyan managed that fairly decently, and he's continuing to attack across the map. I mean, here comes this drop back into play on the 3rd base. Nothing in position for Cyan, but is there enough to deal with this from BratOK? He might go into a bit of a base trade here, and I think Cyan at this point just has to commit to this a little bit. Widow Mines will start to go off. The Zealots start charging up that ramp pretty quickly. And SCV is being pulled away. They're going to turn around to fight. The Colossus need to stop attacking that depot and attack the Bio Army. It's going to be absolutely essential here, as Cyan has absolutely nothing to defend at home. So this drop will continue moving forwards. BratOK will prioritize those pylons, shut down the production. As you do see a couple of Vikings here. There's actually 3 or 4 of them. They're actually doing pretty decent damage against the Colossus. Stalkers need to try and get those Viking kills. 1 Colossus goes down, but there's 3 remaining. Colossus breaking the force fields, allowing the Protoss army to keep pressing forwards here across the map. Again, there's just nothing at home to really help out with this. Some slow Stalkers warping in slowly on the 3rd base. Colossus going to fight the Bio from over the ledge. Again, though, I mean, those Vikings having a pretty good time. The Stalkers just can't seem to target fire them down, so BratOK is just slowly picking away at this army of Cyan, which is just dropping lower and lower and lower. And I mean, now we're going to be seeing this Colossus gets picked off as well. So Colossus goes down, Stalkers continue fighting, and SCV is being pulled in, surround and pick off those Stalkers. Stalkers will blink up to the high ground, getting the Viking kill, and it looks as though this is pretty much... But I mean, it's still going okay for Cyan on the other side, but eventually he's running out of units compared to over here, where BratOK is just unstoppable. Vikings landing and being microed by a medevac to help clean up. Cyan, as he loses the army, will type out GG. I feel like Cyan it as it makes sense. But that's the only reason why, you know. No other reason. Top left, our red Terran player is BratOK, up a game now in this best of 3 and about to qualify. And at the top right hand side, our blue Protoss player is Cyan. Yeah, I do feel like it's very American. It's like, November 3rd, 2018. Cyril, a Finnish boy, trying to take down Korea. Became the first ever non-Korean StarCraft 2 World Champ. It just seems like, whereas in England we would definitely say like on the 3rd of November, Cyril. But yeah, totally American, I think. Where is this studio? What, my studio? This is the Wardy studio. This is mine. It's all mine. That's how I'd say it. I'm quite American. Yeah, I mean, it's definitely a thing. This is my studio, killer. It's where I cast from every day. Well, most days, at least. I own it. And not for much longer. We're going to move soon, I think. Well, definitely. I'm going to start casting from home. I have a room in my new place that'll act as a studio room. So, should be pretty good. Looking forward to it. You like the background? Awesome. I'm glad you like it. Thank you. Appreciate it. Probe is moving around. There's a couple of SCVs fighting away. Command Center. Do you want to drop down in the natural expansion? Cybernetics Core coming up in the main base here of Cyan as well. So, getting that set up. A few workers going to split across a couple of different simulators here and just get to work. Stargate dropping down from Cyan, getting this ready to go as the Reaper is obviously scouting around. Early game opening looking pretty regular once again, very similar to last game even. Obviously last game opened up with an Oracle as well for Cyan, and used the Oracle and a couple of Adepts to apply some pressure, and yeah, 2 Oracles in total. Neither of them really did that much, and I feel like they both got taken down a lot easier than maybe they should have been. And Depp picks up the kill on that Reaper there. Is the path at the top north point of stasis still Tokyo Drift? It's pretty mental, yeah. Roddy was telling me about how he hates it because these walls are very wide. And I actually never thought about this, right? This is actually kind of a big area on the screen that's a wall, right? So Roddy was saying if you're like clicking around, obviously you're playing quite fast, right? So you're over here and you're like, okay, let's box my units and let's A-click over here. It's very easy to actually click like here because this is almost like if you take this entire distance, this area is like a third of the distance here, right? So if you're clicking roughly on the path, it's very possible you click here. And apparently then his units, some of them start going just back around the long way around to go over here and to sit down there. Because by clicking here, I think, even counts like if you click like right on the edge of the wall, like there, it counts as though you're clicking down here. Because it's all part of this wall that obviously you can't actually walk on. So it's, yeah, Rory was telling me about how that's a little bit of an issue. And as we do see the revelation drop down there. Max Factory and Starport all revealed. Nothing too crazy though. And as we do see the Viking being spun out here in the Starport. I was about to say Chrono Boosters, but that's just a revelation. I was, you know, when you've been casting a while and you start saying silly things. That was me right there. That was me. Long day. Long day. Phoenix is being chrono boosted out of the main base by Cyan, so getting this up and running. Still see a couple of Phoenix and Oracle just hanging out, just left of the natural. Yeah, Viking being spun out. I like it because when a Viking pops out, it should do like a fucking 360 spin and be like, "Huzzah! Mr. Viking is here!" You know. I mean, right now they don't, but they definitely should. Vikings are very good at spinning. If you ever put them, please put them on a patrol, BratOK, because they're very good at spinning around in patrols. Like, if you do a short patrol, they just do circles. It's really fun. Now they're just going to be used to actually push units away. Believe it or not, they actually are fighting units as well, not just magnificent dancers. Spinning around and making our dreams come true. Thank you so much, Taco Stuff, for the 5 bits. Hope it's been a good day. It's been a fantastic day, dude. We've had a lot of fun. Some really fantastic games. The Kung Fu Cup earlier was an absolute pleasure. We got to cast Maru in the Kung Fu Cup earlier today, guys. And we'll have those replays out for you very soon and a replay pack. So if you want to get your hands on real life Maru replays, you can subscribe right now and they'll be on the Discord server in the next couple of days. Pretty crazy, right? I think it's actually insane. Bonkers, if I do say so myself. Phoenix looking around. Oracle will drop a revelation down to hit a couple of Vikings, Marines, and a Cyclone. Doing a very good job of it here, as we do see that Widow Mine creating a little bit cause for concern for a moment or two. Phoenix coming in, going to start working on this orbital command for the 3rd base. So orbital taking quite a little bit of damage here as it moves down. Gets ready to land, and boom, there it is, landing down in position. Viking still coming over. Ooh, Widow Mine though catches a Phoenix. That's quite nice. Did it get a kill? It did get a kill. So Phoenix going down. That's nicely done. Maru doesn't usually do Kung Fu Cup, right? No. Okay, this is the first time Maru's played Kung Fu Cup all year. So yeah, it was quite a pleasure. For Phoenix and an Oracle just sat up. As you see, the Temple Archives is dropping down on the natural expansion. 3rd base probes mining away here, and a couple of assimilators on the way up, so 6 workers to maybe spread across those. Very fast gases, which means we're probably going to see quite a lot of tech. Probably storm out of this Temple Archives pretty quickly as well. +2 armor being chrono boosted out, and BratOK just going to be going back home. Applying a little bit of pressure, kind of scaring Cyan maybe into forcing in a few warpins he might not have actually wanted to commit to. Cyan going to go very heavy on the Phoenix here. +1 attack, air attack also on the way up. We also see the, I mean, with the Robo facility coming down, I kind of feel like maybe Robo Bay and Colossus with the Phoenix, but perhaps not. Another Widow Mine gets another Phoenix kill. Those Widow Mines have been so frustrating so far. Very, very frustrating. Blink coming down on the Twilight Council. Armory just finished up, ready for the 2 tier upgrades, and BratOK is immediately going into those, so not waiting around at all on that one there. There's the Robo Bay. Interesting then, what was the Temple Archives ever for? I mean, never got Storm, never made any Archons. Now trying to go up in towards Colossus, but again, Temple Archives before the Robo Bay, or before the facility even, like, delayed the Robo Bay, and then now the Colossus are going to be very late to come out. If it's Colossus, it might not be. He also cancelled +1 flyer attack, which I feel is a good idea because he kept losing Phoenix, and there isn't that many of them left. Loses the Oracle now as well before he hits the Revelation down. Oh no, sorry, he did hit the Revelation down. Okay, we'll get something out of it at least. But yeah, maybe just into Disruptors is a possibility, and that's why he's going for a very delayed Blink. So yeah, Blink at like 7:30 or so isn't super regular in PvT. Yeah, he's going to go Colossus. I mean, Blink is still useful to help protect the Colossus from Vikings, of course. I was just kind of feeling Disruptors. Feels like Cyan is maybe not quite sure how he wants to approach this game himself at the moment. And as we do see the fire units backing away to the left side, and a couple of Vikings up in the center too. Let's see Joe Quinn in the chat just started StarCraft this week. Welcome to the world of StarCraft 2, dude. Enjoy. It's a fantastic game. If you ever have any questions, feel free to ask. If I'm not able to answer because we're busy in an exciting moment in the game or something, I'm sure someone in the chat would usually help you out. All pretty lovely people. So welcome to StarCraft. Good to have you. A few Stalkers on the way up as we get this going. Colossus is about to pop out on this third base as well. So getting that count up here. Obviously no extended thermal lance for a little while though, so they're not super useful just yet. BratOK pulling all the way back over to this left-hand side. Just going to be seeing, again, a few siege tanks getting set up. And more getting set up as well. Phoenix just kind of sat between the bases. I like this as well. Stasis is this map where it has this close by air, natural to natural distance, so drops obviously very likely to come this way. So by having the Phoenix up, it is nice to keep them up there because obviously it's a very common position for you to drop along. Otherwise, in terms of other positions to drop along, there's not many other kind of ways to go. I mean, I guess if you drop around the bottom side, but he has so many pylons here. If we just look at the vision here of Cyan for a moment, as he catches this Liberator, there isn't much Cyan doesn't see. He holds both watchtowers, so his vision is really extensive. The only real vision gap is this little space here, like this tiny area, and this area across here. That's really minimal though, so he sees pretty much everything going on, and that makes it very difficult for BratOK to do anything other than just build up. And that's why BratOK is going into higher tech units like Ghosts, using tanks to solidify his position so he can expand further. Oh, Cyan does not want to attack. He's going to go for a choke point. Okay. I'm just going to tell you right now, this is not going to go well for Cyan. There's absolutely no way on earth. Phoenix will lift up the tanks, sure, but they're just going to get targeted down by Marines. And as the Phoenix get targeted down, the tanks drop back into position. And I mean, Cyan is still trying to attack through a choke point into 5+ siege tanks. Stalkers will blink in and try and target it down, but these Colossus, I mean, yeah, they do pretty well against Marines with stimming forwards. Now the Marines starting to get on top of this as well. The tanks still doing so much. And now these Colossus are on their own. Maybe one can get away in the Prism. But I think realizing that that's potentially an option, he tried to get under the Prism ASAP. Okay, there was a lot of Marines there, so for a moment, I kind of thought these Marines were in some trouble. I'm not going to lie. But I thought these Marines were going to do a lot better. But then I guess the Colossus against that many Marines did okay. I still wouldn't say this was good for Cyan. His Colossus count got completely reset. I mean, BratOK kept a lot of his important units alive. The ghosts are alive, the tanks are still alive. That's all very important here. So yeah, definitely not a position you want to attack into. I mean, just so many siege ship tanks in a freaking choke point. I don't know what Cyan was thinking when he went for that. I mean, I don't know in what world he thought that was going to work out. A couple of SCVs going down. Pylon on a probe, bottom left side. Some SCVs going down, trying to find where. DTs, okay. Cyan going to come in for a bit of aggression, but that turret just gets saved. The repair on it, so the detection stays alive, and that's actually a pretty good shutdown. 6 SCVs when the DTs first come in. BratOK's pretty well prepared for it. The only thing he needs maybe a couple turrets over on these newer bases, especially the ones that are planning. I mean, this one really is the only one that doesn't have a detection built on it, so it needs to maybe move towards that. Alright, well, tanks are once again sieged up dead center of the map at the moment, with ghosts, SCVs coming in to repair. Medevac's getting repaired up then, and BratOK just moves on forwards. You look at this army here of Cyan, 4 Colossus, a whole group of Zealots. Cyan just can't take a fight like he did last time. The thing is, BratOK is playing such a great style to go into late game with. He gets this gold base set up now. He's going to solidify the middle of the map. He starts to take away some of that Cyan map control that we talked about earlier, and just playing a very slow, long game to get into the later stages here. Why does Cyan keep going +1 shields before he goes into +3 weapons? It's interesting. I don't really have a brilliant answer, I don't think, for this. I mean, it's not like he has loads of Archons. It might just be that he wants his Zealots to be as tanky as possible, more so than the weapon. He just feels as though that's more important than the weapon upgrades. But I'm not really sure, because honestly, it's very weird. Like, again, if he was very Archon heavy, the shields might make a lot more sense. There was a time when PvP, for example, +1 shields instead of +2, instead of, I think it was armor or something like that. I can't remember, but there's a while where like a shield upgrade was the priority over a certain level of armor or attack upgrade. In PvT, we've never really seen armor upgrades be used that much. Obviously, they help, but I don't know why you would prioritize it over an attack upgrade. I think maybe he was just, that was the forge which just finished up the armor upgrades first, so he just went straight into shields, while the other forge was just doing the attack upgrades a little bit later anyways, so that might have been the case. I wasn't paying full attention to the forge timings. Now, this is turning into a very slow-paced game. Neither of these players are going to be making any major moves in the near future, it seems. Bio units pushing in towards the center. A scan coming forwards, and we do see a Zealot there. He's already going to be in just a little bit of trouble. Tank will siege up, Bio pushing down. Another scan drops in as we're going to be seeing the Zealot gets picked off. And a couple of missile turrets going to start coming down in the future as well. A couple of DTs pulling back over to the right-hand side, and as again, BratOK keeps sending forwards, looking to see where that army of Cyan is. Trying to figure this out. So many siege tanks in this. Liberators too. Advanced ballistics is not complete actually, which is a little bit interesting. Viking count looking pretty good. A few Tempests have been brought into play by Cyan recently, so really hitting that tier 3 tech. With these Vikings up, I mean, they help. Obviously, the idea is the Vikings were there for the Colossus, so, you know, losing a few Vikings fighting Tempests means the Colossus might survive a bit longer anyways. This is so heavy in tech, by the way, for the Terran. Like, Viking Liberator tank Ghost with, like, 20 bio units? Okay, well, let's see what these EMPs can do. Already some workers going down. I'm not sure where that is. Man, a couple of Liberators moving down the bottom side. Big EMPs! It's a ton of the army. High Templar will load up into the Prism to try and minimize them getting EMP'd again and losing all of their energy for storms. Another couple of EMP ghosts coming forwards, looking for more EMPs. Everything is just hit by that. I mean, that's crazy, and I don't really feel like there's a better opportunity here for BratOK to go and take a fight, right? I mean, everything is EMP'd. Everything will go down so fast if he tries to force something here. But, at the same time, I guess he doesn't want to go running into that many Colossus. He wants to play it slow. Funny enough, Cyan is getting away from the bottom side 6 o'clock position, while BratOK is absolutely starting to push him into a corner. I love this as well. Tank's going to come up on the other side. Really actually starting to put pressure onto the bases of Cyan here. Already this base is not mining because 2 Liberators sieged up, and the Tempest is coming over to deal with that. A single DT comes in to deal with this siege tank. Scan just got dropped. Could EMP that DT. The siege tank's friendly firing a little bit there. As missile turrets are coming down on all of these sides. SCV's coming across the map. BratOK is being allowed to work his way into a very late game position now, and he is really making the most of it. Colossus firing missile turrets. Still getting set up. A Ghost in the front goes down. Didn't find an EMP. There is a couple of EMPs coming down here and there, though, keeping the shields off of this Protoss army. Tanks move more aggressively forwards, and I mean, they have missile turrets coming up to help protect them as well, which will help against the carriers, will help against the Colossus if they come too close. Now the Vikings go forwards, and they're just going to go for the Mothership right away here, just right-clicking on it. Mothership goes down, and the Vikings doing a pretty good job there. Carrier goes down too. +2 vehicle, +1 ship weapons on these Vikings, +1 flyer attacks in the skies for the Protoss player. So that's pretty even as some Ghosts working their way through an assimilator. GT's trying to come in, but this is a ring of turrets now, and this slow push forwards from BratOK is absolutely just choking Cyan out of this game. DTs have Blink, and they're going to try and blink forwards here. The Prism goes down with all of the High Templar inside. I mean, here we go, a Storm or 2 dropping. That was the only Storm available, it seems. And now it just feels like BratOK has already won this game because the start of that fight was so terrible. There's no real support for these air units any longer, so these Vikings can just come in and pick off the carriers, get rid of these Colossus as well. If the Stalkers start coming in, the other units will come through. You're going to see EMPs onto that Tempest and just a couple of Ghosts going in for some damage. In general, though, looking very good here. SCVs went down, but that was only in this fight because the SCVs were here to build the turrets, etc. And again, BratOK has had a very slow push into Cyan's side of the map, and Cyan knows there's not much else to be done. Cyan's out of here. Wow.